the SoNA this year is really unprecedented. It's a history to be remembered in the annals of Gambian history, as far as the president is concerned. Concerns have been raised last time by the opposition that people are clapping, we are politicized. We have to depoliticize
the SoNA.
The SoNA, even though Parliament is a political institution.
Yeah.
But because this is very sacred institution, and it's also a very important moment that we must reflect more nationalistic, in our dealings.
Yeah. And
that is why measures have been put in place to make sure that at least we heed to advisors.
Yeah.
And the president is known for peace. And his statement today, when he moved the motion, at the end, I rose to second the motion. That I told him that your statement that you have delivered today is a clear manifestation, it's a clear testament that the Gambia is in the right trajectory, both in development and in good governance. This is a government that everybody wants to reckon with. Based on the track record and what are really in the pipeline, in fulfillment of Section 77 subclause 1, condition of the country, what are the policies and program government has in terms of delivering promises. And if you look at it, it has touched every sector of the economy. And today he has really yet again demonstrated leadership again. Right after the SoNA, he deemed it fit by himself to pay a courtesy visit in the majority office and minority office, and call for unity. Yeah. And talk to both sides. That we can differ in opinion. We can differ in our dealings, but it must be based on principle. Yeah. But not to paternalize things. I think that is really a message that resonates in our minds.
In fact, he also did that during his address. The theme was to emphasize unity. Yeah. He made sure, he said, political leaders, we can have divergent views. Of course. But
dissenting opinion, divergent views are tolerated in democracy.
Yeah, democracy.
But it must be based on principles. Yeah. So even if you disagree, you know that, okay, Fatu is based on principle, that I disagree with her. So I think that's the way forward. Yeah. And the president has really demonstrated that leadership, that even Speaker, myself, and everybody, him, the deputy minority leader, and the UDP party leader, was there luckily, which he has attested to that this has never been happened. Okay. And Speaker said that the entire period of Jammeh, 20 years or 22 years, Jammeh has never thought of even paying a courtesy visit on the leadership of the House. Parliament is two sides. Yeah. So those two sides compose Parliament. Yeah. So this today, and he has promised that this is now part and parcel of my dealing with you. It is now part of our routine program. Anytime we are coming here, it's now a tradition that we must pay a courtesy visit on both sides.
That's remarkable.
Yeah, it's not just to create that kind of interface, but create also that kind of inclusiveness.
That is important. So the issues, you said the president touched on all issues, but like Mari said, he has not addressed corruption. Yes. Recently, we applauded you for calling for the extraordinary session. I remember we were supposed to have you on the show, but you were busy working on the extraordinary session that gave birth to the commission that is going to be set up by the National Assembly to investigate the dealings of the Janneh Commission. Yes. Now, this has been a big scandal, and the whole nation, even the president had to come and address the nation.
That's right.
If the president is talking about the State of the Nation address, don't you think the president should talk about corruption? Because there have been a series of corruption issues that have been raised recently in his government. Yes. But most recently, the Janneh Commission issues. Yes. Why was corruption not addressed broadly, showing the citizen what the country is doing, what the leadership is doing to make sure corruption is limited in his government? Yes. Why has that not been addressed?
Let me also assure you and the general public that the Barrow government remains resolute in the fight against corruption. To say someone is corrupt is very easy to really make those allegations. But it takes, procedures and processes to really establish that fact.
That's true.
It's easy for opposition to say Barrow government is corrupt. But where are the evidence that show that they're corrupt? And His Excellency President Barrow, today in his SoNA, he has given a promising word. And this has been a clarion call by the opposition, particularly UDP leader, that the parliament has passed the legislation on anti-corruption, yet we are yet to see a commission. I refer you to page 7.
Yeah.
He said, I'm pleased to inform this August Assembly that both the Victim Reparation Commission and the Anti-Corruption Commission, established through legislation passed by this Assembly, will commence operation in this legislative year. This is a laudable initiative, and we must appreciate the government, the president, for taking the bull by the horn, that we are now putting in place an institution, a commission that will now, Gambians will now have the latitude now or the leverage to relay complaints to this commission, this competent authority, for them to investigate. If His Excellency the President is not interested in fighting corruption, he would have buried this thing under the carpet and not wanting to establish a commission on his own. For him to have that political will, it shows that this man is open, he's transparent, and is ready for accountability. And Gambians really applaud this initiative and thank him for the foresight and leadership, for deeming it fit to make sure that he has promised the entire Gambia, length and breadth, that within this fiscal year, his government would put in resources, would put in the required expertise to make sure that we establish a commission whereby you and I can have access to. Anybody who you think you allege that has done a corrupt practices, there's a competent authority now that will handle the matter. You know, this issue of we trying to establish a commission of inquiry into these dealings is as a result or absence of lack of commission. Had it been there's a commission established, this parliamentary issue of investigating wouldn't have the rights. Would have just go straight and lodge the complaint to the competent commission for them to investigate. So this is really
laudable, and it's laudable to have a commission. But what we're also saying is for the president to openly let us know, because obviously we have seen audit reports. Yes. You know, they come to you first before we even see it in National Assembly. Yes. We have seen audit reports giving us clear indications as to what is happening in departments. Yes. Even government, the police have themselves investigated ministries and other areas who, you know, the national audits have flagged. Yeah. If the president and this government is really serious about combating corruption, it's not just about having that commission, because we also know there have been a lot of lapses in that commission. I have said that you guys, the National Assembly, have watered down.
There's no commission yet.
I mean, the commission, the Anti-Corruption Act, right? A lot of the strong, how do you call it? The clauses have been watered down. We all know that. We have said that here several times. Myself, they have been watered down. And that is from your caucus, right? It's coming from your caucus. But what I'm saying, honestly, for the president to acknowledge that we all know, obviously, this Jana Commission and all other audit reports have outrightly shown us there are some issues that are happening in the system. And we all know that whether it's in the local governments or in the central government or in departments, it is there. And that is something the president should have let us know. What is the way forward? What are they going to do about that?
Yeah, that is why I said, His Excellency had been a true Democrat. Yeah. He believes in processes. Okay. Doesn't really believe in that, okay, I said Madi is corrupt, so I should jump on Madi and then send him to jail. There has to be processes that have to be put in place. Okay. There is right an ongoing commission of inquiry into the dealings of the council, both Brikamera Council, the Banjul, the Kea Kanifing, and others. Yeah. So what I'm telling you, the way forward is that we have to institutionalize these things, and the perfect institution responsible for anti-corruption activity, it is to put a commission in place, at least as an institution whereby these things are put in place. There is no free corrupt nation anywhere. No. There is no democracy that you go to that issue of corruption, 1 or 2 cases are not found. But what is important? The government action, the government, move toward addressing it. The government must show some degree of seriousness in terms of showing an ugly eye to corruption, because corruption in any economy is a cancer. It kills down every economy. And that is why government in its foresight deem it fit to make sure that we have to pass the legislation. They brought the legislation in Parliament, which has been passed and then sent it to. Now what remains now, party leaders have been calling for President Barrow to establish the commission as required by law to operationalize this institution. And that's exactly what I've done. So basically that's why I said it is very much gratifying for us to really see him moving toward a trajectory, making sure that the Reparation Commission, the Victim Reparation Commission, and the Anti-Corruption Commission have been established, where every citizen can really lodge complaint and then get a fair here.
The president said the economy grew by 5.8% in 2024.
Yes.
The inflation dropping significantly.
Very well.
But food price, and I tell people, I don't know, look, if you tell me, if the World Bank and the IMF tell us, oh, your economy is doing well, your inflation is, and because the GBOS as the one who determine inflation, and they tell the central bank, if they tell us all these numbers, but I know that my bag of rice is going up, it's not going down. That is what is inflation for me. Safuno adamanji, maniboto damanji, tulo damanji, hanimburo adamanji, right? You cannot tell us these numbers, look, the economy is doing well, this is doing well. How is inflation steady? How is food prices not going down when everything in this country na seleta abukaji? Number one. Number two, the dollar is depreciating against the CFA continuously. This dollar is depreciating against the US dollar continuously for the past years. The dollar is depreciating against the euro. All major currencies we are depreciating against. And food prices are up. How are you telling us that inflation is not up? When our food is not down, the dollar is depreciating, everything is not down, but you're still telling us the economy is doing well. How is that possible?
Now, sure.
So, for NPP,
no, it's a common knowledge.
Okay.
To be honest, the Gambian economy is doing very well compared to the sub-region. I'm just going from
doing very well.
Very well.
Well, no,
I'm just going from Liberia.
We don't agree. We are not doing well.
Probably you don't really travel the length and breadth of the sub-region. But if you compare,
I do.
Our
I know you travel more than I do when it comes to that. Yeah.
When you travel within the sub-region, you get to appreciate the Gambia.
Right now, it's Mburo Dala fall from 10 to 12. Before I came, they sent the press release.
Okay.
As we are speaking.
You know, Fatu, I think what you are trying to tell the majority leader.
Yeah.
Let me just finish that.
Okay, yes.
Yes. What I'm saying, it's an open secret that definitely there is reduction in the inflation. If you look at the economic outlook, the economic growth, and as far as compared to previous years, you've seen the reduction. And you have now also seen that from 5.8% to 5.9% in December. That is in terms of economic growth. And if you look at in terms of inflation, the economic outlook of 2025 beyond shows even better prospect with a projected growth rate of 5.9% in 2025, and inflation falling in 9.6 by end 2025 from 17.5.
But that's my problem. Is the numbers.
I'm coming.
The numbers are not in tandem with what is happening on the ground.
If you want to really fight issue of dollar depreciation, if you want to fight in terms of basic food commodities, we must really invest in some product set of economy to be a producing nation, not a consummatory economy.
Yes, that's
we can't be consuming as a country and expect to determine the prices of goods and services.
Yeah.
It is not possible. So it's about us as Gambians to put all hands on deck to really grow bumper rice, bumper agriculture in terms of rice production, to have bumper harvest, and also to determine the reduction of price. You can't determine a rice that is grown in Serbia or in Brazil, as sugar has been grown in Brazil. So what is important is that we as a country, we must advocate for both the private sector to really venture into agriculture, and of course the entire citizen for us to also venture into agriculture. That is why government is taking so many, initiatives in terms of creating subsidy for farmers to get fertilizer at a very cheaper rate, and also bringing farm inputs, tractors and power tillers. These are all geared towards and we cannot do that without. That's the basic truth. We can't do that with leaning or dependent on importation of goods.
Yeah.
We cannot be a consumption economy. We have to be a production economy to even appreciate our dollars against the dollar.
And that is